The Château de Chambord is a masterpiece of French Renaissance architecture, and one of the most recognizable chateaux in the world. Located in the Loire Valley in France, it is renowned for its massive size, and its distinct French Renaissance architecture, blending traditional medieval forms with classical Renaissance structures. The chateau's construction was commissioned by King Francis I of France, in the early 16th century. And while its exact architect is often debated, it is often attributed to the Italian architect, Domenico da Cortona. Construction of the chateau began in 1519, and continued for several decades. King Francis, who lived in the nearby Château de Blois, and the Château d'Ambars, intended to use this new chateau as a hunting lodge. And since his other chateaux were much more simpler, he would use this more elaborate one as a means to show off his enormous wealth and power. Sadly, throughout his entire lifetime, he only spent a total of 7 weeks there. They consisted of only a few short sporadic hunting visits. Despite its great design, Chambord's construction faced numerous challenges, including financial constraints and interruptions, due to wars and political turmoil. As a result, the chateau remained unfinished for much of its early history. Situated out in the middle of a 13,000-acre forest, Chambord was not meant for long-term residency. Though it came with 282 fireplaces, the massive rooms, open windows, and high ceilings made heating it almost impossible in the winter months. Since the chateau was not surrounded by a village or estate, there was no immediate source of food, other than game. As a result, all of the food had to be brought in by the king's large entourage, which often exceeded 2,000 people. Similarly, all of the furniture and wall coverings were also brought in, for each hunting trip. This required the constant assembling and disassembling of the furniture. A major project, and most likely a major deterrent for spending time at the chateau. Possibly the reason why after Francis's death in 1547, his successors did not use the chateau for almost a century, allowing it to fall into decay. But by 1639, things started to look up for the chateau, when it was acquired by the brother of King Louis XIII, Gaston d'Orléans, who restored it back to habitable condition. Once again, Chambord was used as the perfect getaway for royal hunts and extravagant feasts. Later on, King Louis XIV added the 1,200-horse stable, as well as permanent furnishings that further enhanced its splendor. Nonetheless, the colossal chateau was abandoned in 1685. And on and off, it sat empty for many more years. In the late 18th century, after the French Revolution, Chambord once again fell into disrepair. With its interiors ransacked, and furnishings sold for profit. By the 19th century, Chambord would undergo a significant restoration under the ownership of the Duke of Bordeaux, otherwise known as the Count of Chambord. After reviving the grandeur of the Renaissance era, he opened the chateau to the public, allowing visitors to marvel at its architectural splendor and historical significance. In 1930, after several more owners, and multiple attempts to turn it back into a residence, the chateau and its surrounding forest became state property. Since then, Chambord has undergone extensive restoration projects, while ensuring its accessibility to visitors from around the world. Chambord's architecture is characterized by its blend of medieval and Renaissance styles. It features traditional medieval elements, such as a moat, combined with Renaissance features, such as symmetrical facades, classical columns, and geometric patterns. As the walls, towers, and partial moat are only decorative, the chateau was never meant to provide any form of defense from enemies. Its busy asymmetrical roofline marked by unique towers, cupolas, gables, lanterns, and chimneys, very much resemble the skyline of a small city. One of the most striking features of Chambord is its double helix staircase, rumored to have been inspired, or possibly designed by Leonardo da Vinci, who happened to live nearby at the time. This architectural marvel allows a total of 4 people to ascend or descend the staircase, without ever running into each other. A testament to both practicality and aesthetic innovation. Today, Chambord is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and one of the most popular tourist attractions in France, attracting millions of visitors each year. Over the years, it has inspired numerous architectural works across Europe, such as the Schwerin Palace in Germany, the Founders Building at Royal Holloway College, as well as Waddesdon Manor in England. From its humble origins as a royal hunting lodge, to its status as a global icon of architectural magnificence, the Château de Chambord stands as a testament to the power and grandeur of the French monarchy, from ages past.